In the heart of Hollywood's biggest night, where dreams are dressed in diamonds and tears hide behind designer shades, 2025 delivered a twist no one saw coming. For the first time in Oscar history, a transgender actress stood poised to win Best Actress. Karla Sofía Gascón, radiant in silver, smiled for the cameras, but behind that red carpet glow, Twitter storms were brewing. Old tweets surfaced, tweets laced with racism, igniting a digital firestorm just days before the ceremony. At the same time, two major contenders, the Brutalist and Conclave, faced their own reckonings, one accused of leaning too heavily on AI, the other sparking outrage among religious communities. The Academy was no longer a sanctuary of celebration. It had become a battlefield of culture, identity, and technology. What happened behind the curtains? Who stood tall, and who crumbled? Buckle up. This is not your typical Oscar night story. Hit like, subscribe and let's go. Before the flashbulbs and the fury, Karla Sofía Gascón lived a life of steady ascent, quiet, persistent, deliberate. Born in Madrid, Spain, she transitioned in her 40s, defying a conservative industry and carving out a niche in European cinema. By 2023, she had become a respected name, often praised for her raw, emotional performances. Her days were filled with morning coffees on sunlit balconies, script readings in cozy living rooms, and quiet walks through Madrid's historic barrios. She wasn't chasing fame, fame came to her. When she landed the lead role in La Sociedad de la Nieve, critics took notice. Then came The Mexican Dream, a film that catapulted her into the global spotlight. The Academy nomination felt surreal. History-making. Hopeful. But as her name began trending for all the right reasons, old echoes stirred in the dark corners of the internet. Whispers. Screenshots. The rhythm of celebration was about to be shattered. Just days after the Oscar nominations were announced, Karla's phone buzzed, not with congratulations, but with concern. A journalist's DM. A link. Then another. And another. Her name, once bathed in praise, now glowed under headlines she didn't expect. Controversial tweets resurface. Screenshots flooded social media, old posts, some over a decade old, written in moments of ignorance, now framed as statements of hate. Words she barely remembered, taken out of context, or maybe not. She stared at the screen, her stomach tightening. The timeline exploded. Fans divided. Apologies demanded. Silence criticized. And yet, it all felt strangely orchestrated, as if someone had waited for this moment to strike. The elegance of award season had cracked. Karla, frozen in her apartment, watched the world spin faster than she could answer. But this was just the beginning. The backlash didn't fade. It multiplied. Every morning, Karla woke to a fresh wave, new articles, angry threads, hashtags twisting her name. She refreshed her mentions, hoping for support, only to find influencers dissecting her past in real time. Then came the op-eds, some defending her, others calling for her removal from the Best Actress race. A strange pattern emerged. Accounts with no followers, but perfect timing. Coordinated attacks, perfectly clipped videos, decade-old interviews suddenly resurfacing. Someone was digging, too deep, too fast. Behind her windows, the Madrid sky darkened, even when the sun shone. Reporters now lingered outside her building. Paparazzi drones hummed above her balcony. And the Academy? Silent. Coldly neutral. Karla sat in her kitchen, coffee untouched, fingers twitching over her phone. The walls felt tighter. Time slower. And through the noise, one quiet question echoed in her mind: why now? Something about this wasn't random. It was a late February evening when Karla, sleepless and restless, decided to trace the storm back to its source. She hired a private digital analyst, a discreet, sharp-eyed woman named Lucia, who had once worked for major cybersecurity firms. Within 48 hours, Lucia uncovered a strange cluster, over 100 bot accounts, all linked to the same IP network based in Los Angeles. Stranger still, some were tied to a media agency rumored to have ties with a rival nominee's PR team. Karla stared at the report, her hands trembling. This wasn't just backlash. It was sabotage. A manufactured scandal. A strategic smear campaign. The tweets may have been hers, but their sudden resurrection, timing, and amplification, it was all too calculated. Too cruel. For the first time, Karla felt clarity piercing through the chaos. This wasn't about her past. This was about silencing her present. Her story had become a threat. And someone wanted it erased. As Lucia peeled back more layers, the truth grew darker. The digital attack wasn't isolated, it was part of a larger, shadowy campaign targeting multiple Oscar nominees who challenged Hollywood's old guard. The Brutalist's AI controversy wasn't just about technology, it was tied to corporate interests protecting traditional filmmaking powers. Meanwhile, protests against Conclave weren't random outbursts but orchestrated moves by influential religious lobbyists fearing the film's critical lens on the church. Karla felt the weight of an unseen war pressing down on her shoulders. The nomination that once promised hope now carried a heavy burden, not just for her, but for everyone fighting to redefine Hollywood's future. Anger surged through her veins, mixed with a rising panic. Was there even a place for truth in this glittering, ruthless arena? The stakes were no longer just trophies. They were identity, justice, and survival. The night before the Oscars, Karla sat alone in her hotel suite, the city lights flickering like distant stars outside her window. Her phone buzzed relentlessly, messages from friends urging caution, legal teams warning of potential fallout, and fans begging her to fight or walk away. Across town, the shadowy forces orchestrating the smear campaign tightened their grip, preparing a final blow, leaked personal emails, doctored videos, a full assault designed to destroy her reputation forever. Karla faced an impossible choice: stay silent and protect herself, letting the storm rage unchecked, or speak out and risk everything, including her career and safety. The weight of history pressed down. Would she become a victim of the system or break through it? As dawn approached, the answer hung in the balance, poised to rewrite not just her story, but the future of Hollywood itself. Just hours before the ceremony, a devastating leak shattered Karla's fragile world. Private messages, twisted and taken out of context, flooded every headline. Sponsors withdrew. Invitations vanished. The Academy remained silent, unwilling to step into the storm. Alone, betrayed by the very industry she had dreamed of joining, Karla felt the weight of despair crushing her spirit. The red carpet, once a symbol of hope, now seemed a path to ruin. The cameras would capture her fall, not her rise. For a moment, it seemed all was lost, that the powerful forces had won. But amid the darkness, a quiet message arrived, a single journalist offering to share the full, unedited story. A whisper of truth in a sea of noise. A fragile lifeline. The fight was not over. Not yet. In the darkest hour, Karla found an unexpected ally in Maya, an investigative reporter known for exposing Hollywood's hidden battles. Together, they unveiled the truth behind the smear campaign, detailed evidence linking the orchestrated attacks to rival studios and shadowy PR firms. The story went viral, sparking public outrage and forcing the Academy to address the controversy head-on. Sponsors returned, apologies were issued, and Karla's resilience became a beacon of hope for many. Standing before the world at the Oscars, her nomination no longer a symbol of division but of courage, Karla embraced her moment with grace. The fight had been brutal, but through truth and unity, she reclaimed her narrative, proving that even in the darkest shadows, light can break through. The story was no longer just hers, it belonged to everyone daring to challenge the status quo. The aftermath of the 2025 Oscars left an indelible mark, not just on Karla Sofía Gascón, but on Hollywood itself. Doors once closed began to creak open, conversations about inclusion and accountability echoed louder than ever. Karla, forever changed by the storm, became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that courage can rewrite even the oldest scripts. Yet the question remains, how many voices are still waiting in the wings, unheard and unseen? As the curtain falls on this chapter, the story continues, inviting us all to ask, what does true progress look like, and who decides the price we pay for it? If this story moved you, hit subscribe, share your thoughts below, and join the conversation. Because change begins when we listen, and dare to speak.